Yo, peoples, Qushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another iteration of Qushu Views Anime. Onwards to the next episode of One Piece, so let's get it started! Okay, we're starting off diving through the clouds. Off the coast of the land of Wano. Oh, it's the Red Force! And y'all know what that means! Shanks! Look at this man just chilling. Man, he's remembering back to the last time he was at Wano, and the last time he was there, he was seeing off Odin. Happier times, right? Wondering about Momo and Hiyori. It really has been a long time. Ain't it crazy though? It's crazy how Hiyori and Momonosuke were born. Yo, hold up! Did Shanks just sense Ryokugyu? He just sensed him! He's off the coast of Wano, which is miles out into the sea. And he sensed him. And now we're back at the festival where everyone's celebrating. This is also the moment that everyone found out that Luffy was an emperor. I don't know why Kid thought he was gonna roll up and try and take out Luffy after Luffy just beat an individual that both Kid and Law said they wouldn't have the strength to fight if he was the one to come down from the roof. But everyone's celebrating the Minks, the Samurai, both the Heart and Kid Pirates. It's just one big massive celebration. But let's not forget who's making his way towards the Flower Capital. The world will burn. The onslaught of a Navy Admiral. Ooh. Everyone's celebrating, kids are having fun, genuine fun. Not like, oh, we only get to enjoy this one night out of a year. No, this is gonna be a common occurrence. Just think, everyone is crying, well, it's really Rizzo crying his eyes out, but think, for 20 years they had to wait. For 20 years they had to wait and be patient just for this moment to come about. And now that it's finally here, it's like something out of a dream. Because a lot of the samurai pretty much reserved themselves to die at Onigashima if it meant bringing this about. And many samurai did lose their lives. But to the ones who were entrusted by Odin the first time, basically his vassals, the Akazaya 9, to see this moment is a momentous thing. But now we got Ryokugyu! And he's just there! Yo! Nakamamushi and Inuarashi! They've already left. Denjiro has left. Shinobu, Kawamatsu, and Rizzo, they sensed someone coming towards the Flower Capital. All of them. Yep, they all sensed him. They can all sense him coming. Yo, just skewering Luffy's Wanted poster with a... Look at him. Look at him. He's making plants grow just by walking. Just his mere step brings life to Wano. Ryokugyu in front of the Akazaya 9. Yo, Rizzo's doing the first blow. Rizzo's going first. Now Shinobu just instantly kicks away Shinobu without a second thought. Look at him. He got his hands in his pockets. Who he think he is? Kisanu! River of Retribution, and it didn't do nothing. They all trying to get him at the same time. Look at him. Look at him. He's just dodging and kicking. He literally grabbed the blade! Look at him! This Joker got the power of Hashirama cells. Well, we get to see how Ryokugyu thinks as an individual. Since Wano isn't affiliated with the world government, essentially he sees no one on Wano as having any rights. What is this wood-style jutsu deep forest emergence nonsense going on right now? Use the woods power fruit power. I'm a woodsman. Along with the sea, the woods birth life as well. It's the very essence of Logia. So ladies and gentlemen, we now have our very first Logia that is earth-based. Others we've seen is like light, ice, fire, magma. But this is a wood-style user. The sacrifice of the few is essential for the peace of the many. That's a weird, twisted way to see that. Non-member countries like yours are a sacrifice for the world. By looking down on you guys, the rest of us can live our lives. So you can see that Ryokugyu is not only a Kainu fanboy, but mentally, he kind of thinks on the same lines as the Celestial Dragons, even though he isn't one. Don't hate me, that's how the world works. And he's okay with it. He actually doesn't mind if it works that way. And they can't do anything to him, really, at the moment, because they cut off a limb and he just regrows it back. Even if it means killing thousands of people, I'll reach Straw Hat Luffy. So you can honestly see where him and Fujitora differ in terms of morals and thought process. But now we got Yamato. Yamato's here. And now we're back at the Red Forest with Lucky Roo. Look at Shanks, proud of the young boy he inspired on this journey. Look at Yasopp. He's not ready to see his own son Usopp yet. And now they're just waiting on Shanks to give the order. Also making note of how Kid tried to pick a fight with them earlier. Are we having a flashback? Yo! This is Shanks beforehand. World government ship. We got a pink-haired individual with horns, earrings, and his eyes can't be seen. But we got Shanks and his crew attacking this world government ship. And I believe this is the same ship that Who's Who was telling Jinbei that Shanks stole from them. Now we get to see that moment where Shanks took the gum fruit away from Who's Who, and Who's Who wound up in Impel Down because of his failure to keep that fruit. Ah, the history of Luffy. You know what? That'll never get old. Just seeing Luffy grow up with Shanks, the moment where his body stretched like rubber for the first time, and all the red-haired pirates just lost their mind seeing it. Then the first instance of Conqueror's Haki, thanks to Shanks. But also the moment he lost his arm in order to save Luffy. The fact that he lost an arm and all that happened was not only was he bleeding, but he just smiled. He completely ignored having an arm ripped off. And Shanks is not gonna see Luffy. Bartolomeo has been on a rampage lately, going to different territories, putting up Luffy sticker everywhere, and one of those territories happened to be Shanks's. Sabo murders King Cobra. That's in the news! Ooh, Akainu! Kuroma Tensei, Director of Naval Bureau of Investigation. I'm trying to remember at the top of my head. A few hours before that, in the land of the gods where the Celestial Dragons live, they destroyed the hoof of the Celestial Dragon, the symbol of the world nobles, and declared war. Ha ha! Finally! The Navy led by Admiral Ryokugyu and Fujitora fought back, but as a result, Bartholomew Kuma, a former Revolutionary Army member who was enslaved by the Celestial Dragons, was freed and they all escaped. This might be the calmest I've heard Akainu speak at all. And Vivi's also apparently disappeared. Can we close the case on the attempted murder of Saint Charlos? Regarding St. Miasgard excusing the assailants, they're still deliberating in the land of the gods. The Holy Knights intervened and it's getting complicated. The Holy Knights! They were talking about 8 nations that have joined a rebellion. And other places have begun to worship Sabo as a god because of his apparent murder of Cobra. They're calling him the Flame Emperor, which is, you know, the name of one of Ace's techniques. On top of that, his sworn brother Luffy is now an Emperor of the Sea. Revolution has started on a far grander scale than it ever has in the world of One Piece. And now we're back in Wano. There is so much to be said about what's being said in this particular episode. And Momonosuke's flying in too. Bolo breath? And there's nothing. Try as he might, Momonosuke can't do anything all that much against Ryokugyu. Look at him, he's getting fully tangled up. We're back at Marine HQ. 67 Sake number 5. Okay, I will say this about some moments during this particular episode where it seems like there have been frame rate drops for frames. It's just something I'm noticing. Not saying that it brings the episode down, but this is a different style compared to the super fluid movements that we tend to see a lot of the time. It's time to go and acquire it. Wait, a time to go and acquire what? One Piece. The One Piece! Shanks said it's time to go get the One Piece. This man said it's time to go get the One Piece. This man said it's time to go get the One Piece. Ryokugyu takes advantage of the still unhealed wounds of the land of Wano and tramples on the samurai. just as he takes down Momonosuke with his overwhelming power. And a new era is about to close once again. A man with a strong belief in the future appears. On the next episode of One Piece, the coming of the new era, the red-haired Imperial Rage. Ooh, ooh, I'm gonna be king of the pirates. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we can go ahead and talk about this now. We got Shanks and the crew out on the outskirts of Wano. Then you got all the Akazaya 9 dashing out to the outskirts of the city to confront Ryokugyu, who's there for Luffy. And this man reveals that he has a Logia fruit called the Woods fruit. So, look, I wish I could just go into full detail about this man and all the stuff that he can do, but I'm going to save it for another time. But can we talk about how this man was flexing on all of the samurai most of the time with just his hands in his pockets? When he was running pockets with his hands in his pockets. And then he turned into Woods and was able to contend with everybody, including Momonosuke. Then you got Shanks and the crew. Now, mind you, not only that, but we have the Navy, where we find out that apparently Sabo has murdered Cobra. 8 nations have joined in a revolution, along with other parts of the world as well, and they're calling Sabo the Flame Emperor now, with notoriety that is pretty much up there with Dragon right now, at least in the view of the people who are rallying behind him. But we have that, we have the Navy going through all the things that happened at Marijois, such as them setting fire to the symbol of the gods, the symbol of the celestial dragons, setting fire to that and proclaiming war on them. Declaring war on the celestial dragons themselves. Also, breaking out Bartholomew Kuma and escaping. So that's a whole matter going on. Then, recently, Luffy has been named an emperor, so it's a whole big cascading series of events, to the point where, and I said this to people when I was reading through the chapters when this stuff happened, the Navy cannot catch a break. Ever since Akainu became the fleet admiral, the Navy has not had a real win since the Marineford War, can we say? When Ace was killed and Whitebeard was killed as well, some could see that as a victory for the Navy. But ever since Akainu became fleet admiral, this man and this whole organization has been catching what the kids say L's the whole time. And it just feels like they just can't catch a break. And this man is already complaining like, I picked the wrong era to become fleet admiral. But no matter who comes at me, I'll strike them all. So it's like, that's the result of Akainu, but it just seems like so many things are happening one after the other. Then we end the episode with Shanks saying like, yeah, I think it's time. We go acquire it. The One Piece. So now we got Shanks who's all like, yep, it's time to go acquire the One Piece now. So many things happened. It's a blessing to watch this episode, and I can't wait for the next one. But to everyone here, really do hope you all enjoyed my reaction to tonight's episode of One Piece. Hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples.